So hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is April and today I'm back again with another video, and again today I have a guest which, as you guys have noticed, has been quite common on my channel lately. And today my guest's name is...
My name is Zelda Poku.
Zelda Poku, yes. And she was a student at the University of Ghana School of Law. She was a first degree student, and today I'm just going to be talking to her about what it was like for her. She actually graduated and she's now at the Ghana School of Law, that is Makola. So basically she's continuing her studies. Zelda, today if you could just please tell us a bit about your background, what it was like for you before you studied law, your educational background, maybe starting from SHS, you know.
I had my SHS education in Wesley Girls High School.
Oh, okay.
Coast. After I did my, I went to University of Ghana and studied political science and French as my major. When I was done with that, I was called by the school to do my national service with the French department.
Oh, at UG?
At UG. When I was done with that, I got a job at Meltwater's Entrepreneurial School of Technology in East Legon. I worked with Meltwater for about 2 years, and then I got married and then had my first child.
Okay, so what did you do at Meltwater? What kind of position?
I was an administrative assistant.
Administrative assistant,
yes.
Okay.
And so I had a baby, and then I decided to take time off work. So after that, I think a year after the baby, sometime in 2011 May, I applied for a job at Agro Ecom Ghana Limited.
Okay.
It used to be called Amajaro Ghana Limited.
Okay.
And it's an LBC, licensed buying cocoa company, which deals in the exporting of cocoa, obviously through Cocoa Board. So I was the admin manager there. And I worked with them for about 6 to 7 years.
That's quite a long time.
Yes, and then I applied for the law school, and then I got in. I was successful.
What year was that?
2017.
2017. Okay, by that time I was in my second year, and I think yes I met you when I was in my second year.
We had classes
together.
Some classes, yes, together. Yes. So I got into the law school, and I mean it was an amazing experience. I mean, and very humbling too. It was in a class with people, very young people who could even be as young as my kids. If I started having kids at maybe 20 years, and I mean they were so full of energy, and you know, and then it got to like sometimes I felt like, oh, am I in the right place? You know, because balancing, you know, family life and then, you know, school,
of course,
it's quite
difficult.
Hectic, yes. So
sorry, before you continue, yes, I just want to find out the admission process. So of course we are not going to go into detail. I already have a video on the admission process for first degree students, so you guys should check that video out. But what I want to know is, how was the process for you personally? I don't need the particular steps, but just the feelings for you. Were you confident that you would get in? Also in terms of gender balance, do you feel like maybe you were accepted? A lot of people, especially guys, have told me that they felt, compared to the females, they felt like they were at a disadvantage. So I just want to know from your perspective, do you think that there were certain biases towards females or not?
I can't really tell.
Okay.
I know we were over 1,000 people who applied.
Yes.
And I think we wrote our initial exams, which was I very confident. I mean, I've written exams all my life, and then I mean, this was on current issues. It wasn't anything specifically that we had to learn for. So apply some common sense here and there, and fortunately I got in and I was called for the interview. The interview, I mean, I saw a lot of people. I started panicking, you know, and then I was like, okay, just let me stay composed. I mean, if you get in, fine. If you do not get in. And the interview also wasn't based on anything but current affairs, I mean, your knowledge, I mean, it's quite unfortunate for some people because they were asked certain questions that I probably wouldn't have even been able to answer. But when it got to my turn, I could answer my questions. And when I was leaving the room, I was quite confident because I think I answered almost every question that they asked
That
me.
they posed.
Yes,
Okay.
so I was quite confident I would get in. So I just kept my fingers crossed and then waited till I finally got a text message that I was admitted.
Okay.
I've been admitted.
Alright, but in terms of the questions that were posed, it was just general, so it wasn't specific to your job, for example, or to political science, or
No.
just general.
General, I think political science, yes. And then one of the judges of the panel asked me if I had studied French because it was on my resume. And he
Yes.
spoke French with me.
Oh wow.
Yes, we communicated
In French.
in French.
Okay, you were able to carry the
and
conversation.
then because I studied political science, I was also asked about the social contract
Theory.
the theory. Yes, so we, had a conversation. I was also asked about books I had read, and then to give them like a summary of the books. Yes, I mean it was general, and then some current affairs, and also obviously what you studied in school.
Alright, I see. That was very interesting. But considering how you were, okay, in my opinion, how you were already quite successful in your career, why did you decide to study law? And you are currently on the way to become a lawyer, so you do want to practice, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah, so I just want to know why.
You know something, I had a personal experience with the law.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't want to go into details, but I went to court a few times and I was being represented by a lawyer. Eventually, I won the case. But then I felt like there were other people there, right, who, I don't know whether they were being represented, but it felt like people needed help, a lot of people, especially women, in terms of maybe divorce, marriage issues, child maintenance, and then, and these people were not being really heard. And like I saw things for myself and I said, oh, and I've actually always been interested in the law. Like while I was growing up, I've always been interested in the justice system. Why is this happening? Can we do something about the law? Are there any reforms? I've always, had questions about the law. So I knew eventually at one point in my life, I would study law.
Yeah, okay. But then so you were able to get in from the get-go, from your very first trial. So what I want to know is, if you were not able to get in, would you have persisted? Would you have tried again?
Maybe I would.
You would?
Yes.
No, to me that is quite, it's inspirational. It is inspirational because it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Yes.
And I'll tell you one thing. So if you quite remember, I don't know if you really remember, I deferred for a year. I was supposed to graduate with a 2019 batch.
Okay, so you came in for 2 years.
2 years.
2017, 2018, 2019.
Exactly.
But you deferred.
Yes, because I was expecting. So I deferred and then had my baby.
Wow.
And then joined.
Wow.
Yes. And before that, my colleagues had written their entrance exams. And I mean, a lot of people were disappointed
in the results.
And I was really, would I say, I panicked as well. And then I was thinking, should I come back, But then I was like, hey, I mean, there's nothing to lose. Let me just join. And then I did. And fortunately,
you were able to get through, and she's now studying at the Ghana School of Law. But again, I want to, the deferment aspect is, it's something that is interesting to me because I didn't know that it was even done at UG. So how does that process work? You got pregnant, you inform the school officially, and then it's automatically granted. You don't have to pay for that 1 year, or how does it work?
Okay, so I got pregnant, and then I initially didn't want to defer, But then I realized that my due date, when sometimes they bring the provisional time,
Yeah,
the exam timetable. So my due date was just a week. Was it 2 weeks before the exams, right?
Wow.
So I was thinking, oh, should I wait? But these things, you could have the baby even 2 weeks after the due date. So I took a decision and said, okay, let me defer. I sent an application letter for the deferral, and they responded and declined it. It wasn't granted initially. So and then I had to write again with my, doctor's report, my scans and everything to actually prove that this is what is going on. Even though I was physically pregnant, and they could see for themselves.
You wrote to the dean of the school of law or to the vice chancellor?
The academic affairs.
The academic affairs, yes. Okay. So it's not directly with the School of Law, it's more with the university.
Yes, the university itself.
Okay.
Yes. That you have to deal directly with the university. So then I did that, and then they granted me
the deferral for 1 year.
For 1 year. Initially I wanted to join, sometimes they schedule exams in December, or was it
the first semester? Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to join, but then they didn't grant me that as well. So I had to wait for a year.
Oh my goodness. The system is just too rigid in my opinion. Like these things should not be complicated.
Yes, it shouldn't be that.
That's just how it was. So for that year you did not attend classes.
No, I attended classes.
Okay.
They told me to attend classes till exams time.
Okay, so you deferred exams. You didn't.
I deferred exams. That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you just wrote those exams the following year. Okay. And now I just want to cover the aspects of studying whilst having a family. You mentioned you have 2 children at this point.
I do.
So 2 children, especially a very young child, a baby, basically. How was that like? How did you even get time to study? Where would you study?
It was a struggle. I mean, having to combine the two, because you know how demanding the school is.
Of course.
You have to be in school all week.
Yeah.
We close, and then by the time I get home, they are ready. My daughter, that was in the first year, it was one child.
One child, yes.
So she'll be complaining, you never spend time with me. Even the weekends, I have to go to the law library.
Yeah.
So I try to also make up. If maybe I'm really busy during the week, I'll try and stay home maybe during the weekend, take them to the movies, like try to do something.
That's really nice.
To compensate for my busy life. And it started having a toll on me, and but the idea was it was just for a period of time. So I just managed.
You were just able to manage. Honestly, I don't think I would have been able to do something like that unless did you have a nanny?
Oh yes, I have help.
Oh, okay.
I have help.
Okay, because otherwise, for me, like cleaning and cooking and taking care of the children,
I wouldn't have been able to.
So yes, of course. So in that case, all right, it makes perfect sense. Okay, so now to the actual classroom experience. I just want to know what it was like for you, considering your age and coming back to school.
It was quite interesting, and I just felt like any other person.
Oh, okay.
In the class, I didn't really look at myself as, oh, you don't belong here, you are too old for this. And then the younger people motivated me. Their energy, their dedication. So it always kept. And then anytime you were not in class, or somebody would call you, ask, why didn't you come today? Or they would text you, are you okay? I have notes, I have this.
That's really nice.
So it motivated me to always be around, so I could also be another person's keeper.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience. The lecturers were great.
The lecturers
gave their all.
Yes, I definitely agree.
They gave their all, and they pushed us to study, and then in the end it paid off.
Of course, from how I'm understanding it, you paid for the school yourself.
Yes, I did.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because some people have been asking me about scholarships. So I just want to know if you've heard of any scholarships.
I haven't heard of any scholarships.
Neither have I, for post-first degree students.
I haven't. But do they have for regular students?
Okay, for me, I was on a scholarship, but it was a merit-based scholarship. I did not know about it when I started my studies, and it was automatic based on your GPA.
Okay.
So it was merit-based fully, and we were not even aware of it.
Oh.
Yes, in terms of need-based scholarships, I have heard of a few, but they are so limited. So limited, very competitive. You have to write essays and apply separately. It's more of a general school thing, not a law school thing. Yes. But for post-first degree, I haven't heard.
You haven't?
Yes. So, Zelda, your advice for other people who would want to study law, what's the first thing that you think they should keep in mind? And maybe that they should do even before they apply, once they get in, at basically every stage?
So I will advise, anybody who's interested in studying law to maybe take a visit to the school, interact with some of the students, and know what they are going through, what are the advantages, the disadvantages, and then just when you have a conversation, you get to know what it entails and what is expected of you. And do not be discouraged. Just motivate yourself. Look at what other people have done. Not necessarily in law. Look at other people, sportsmen. Older people are always learning. Warren Buffett, all these, they are constantly reading, learning. So just pursue your goals and then achieve what you want. It doesn't matter if you have a family or you are old, because if you think of it, you'll be discouraged by saying, oh, law will take what? I have to do the LLB, I have to do Macaulay, I have to do it's going to take about 4 or 5 years. But the 4 or 5 years, they are going to come, whether you study the law or not.
Very true.
Whether you study the law or not, the years will come. What are you doing with the years? So just pursue your dreams, and if it's law you want to do, go ahead and do it.
Sure. That is fantastic advice. Thank you so much for this. I'm so grateful to have had Zelda on my channel. And you guys, of course, if you have any more questions, please drop them down in the comment section below. I will reply them, and I would also get Zelda's help to reply some of them if I'm not capable of doing that myself. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as usual, stay with me because I have many more videos coming your way on YouTube. So I hope to see you guys in another video. But for now, it's just a goodbye. I'm so sorry about this mask. It keeps slipping off. And my glasses too, yeah, it's normal. We are still in COVID-19 period. So let's keep that in mind. For now, I just want to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.